The colony worlds of Halcyon are one of many that humanity has established a presence in. The Earth Directorate, the governing body that oversees stellar expansion into the outer worlds, catalogues star systems with habitable planets and sells the rights of these worlds to the highest bidder to do with as they please. A series of companies, Spacer's Choice, Auntie Cleo's and Rizzo's, all banded together and chose to purchase the Halcyon System, forming the board. In order to get to the faraway systems, two massive colony ships were commissioned, the Hope and the Groundbreaker, each with thousands of colonists held in suspended animation to cover the 10-year journey. Alongside the colonists, a crew was dedicated to manning the giant vessels and seeing that they reached their destination, and they left Earth in 2285. One of these vessels, the Hope, suffered a malfunction in its FTL skip drive and ended up having to make the journey at sublight speeds, lagging years behind its sister ship, the Groundbreaker. Arriving in 2320, the Halcyon board had already established itself over the intervening years and no longer had a plan to deal with an influx of new colonists, long assumed lost. They made the heartless decision to abandon the Hope, as suspended animation was only supposed to last for a decade at most, and longer terms in hibernation tended to result in medical complications on defrost, such as complete liquefaction. The Groundbreaker meanwhile fulfilled its mission and pulled up to Lagrange Point, thawed its colonists and began to settle them across the numerous habitable worlds, which were made such through heavy terraforming towers. The crew of the Groundbreaker, however, after depositing its cargo, passengers and prefab housing, decided that they had grown to enjoy the spacefaring life and made the choice to remain aboard the Groundbreaker and orbit near Terra 1. The former hibernation vessel was gradually overhauled to act as a way station and independent space outpost, not beholden to the board's authority. The board objected, but the Groundbreaker was technically a private vessel, and the captain, Chief Gying Tennyson, had carefully negotiated that she and her crew not be beholden to the colonization plans and that the vessel itself would remain the property of those that manned it, not the corporations.
The Tennysons came over on the Groundbreaker. My grandmother, Chief Gying, kept it together during the crossing and until she died. Maybe you can see why I'm protective of Groundbreaker. This ship is family. It's got tinkerings and bypasses that only Tennysons know about.
While fully independent, the ship-turned-port was still host to a number of establishments owned by these massive businesses. After all, you only have to look at the state of Monarch to see the cost of not doing business with the board. The docks within the Groundbreaker are large enough to house several ships of medium berth, and both independent ships and company vessels, known as the Tramp Cruise and board owned respectively, make port here, looking for R&R and trade. The stevedores, or dockhands, are usually under the employ of the crew of the Groundbreaker and can be found loading, offloading, fueling and running the errands needed to keep traffic in the ports flowing smoothly. Separating the spacious docks from the main deck of the Groundbreaker is the customs office, a security checkpoint through which all must pass presenting their ID for inspection. This also houses the Mardettes, the de facto security and police of the station, again answerable only to the Groundbreaker's captain. It's not uncommon to witness power struggles between the Mardettes and the corporation-owned security that often arrives with board vessels, but ultimately, the local law has authority. Any who upset the order may find themselves locked behind bars in the ship's brig, and their possessions confiscated and held for evidence. The Mardettes got their name from their time as the Groundbreaker's own assigned military detachment, the 77th Marine Expeditionary Unit Trailward Fleet, abbreviated over time to its current form. Marine Detachment, Mardette. Over time, the Groundbreaker underwent several internal overhauls to make room for a promenade of shops lit by the neon advertisements of many a retail outlet, dining establishment and a bar named the Lost Hope, in honour of the missing sister ship. This was a massive undertaking, as the vessels themselves had numerous shortcuts and budgetary concerns that limited their performance. On the main deck, under a clear ceiling showing the stars of the void, there now lies a Spacer's Choice outlet amid other storefronts. There are several eating establishments. Being little more than a kitchen with a counter, we can see sellers of Sprat and Auntie Cleo's official restaurants shoulder to shoulder with arms dealers. The Rest and Go serves as an inn and accommodation for the travellers who pass through, and is the closest establishment to the customs office. Here we can find the kindly elder Gladys, who runs a concise information network and fencing operation while dishing out hard candies to polite visitors. Her actions are known to the station, but tolerated because of her symbiotic relation with the Groundbreaker. Just down the way from the inn and opposite the waste disposal facility is the medical wing, formerly the ship's sickbay and now a walk-in clinic. Medical supplies are a precious commodity, but can be purchased here by those who have the go-ahead from the captain. Beyond the foyer lies the hospital beds, tended to by only 2 doctors and a myriad of studious staff. And after this, the quarantine zone. This makes sense for a long voyage vessel, as in an enclosed environment, such as this ship, illnesses can spread rather quickly, and a series of hermetically sealed rooms act to prevent the spread of infectious illnesses, while simple injuries can be treated in the ward. There are also 2 other factions that maintain a presence on the main deck, both Sublight and the Halcyon Holdings board. Sublight is a company that officially deals in salvage rights and trading, but behind the scenes, and not well hidden at that, Sublight deals in more nefarious operations, from smuggling to theft. Their offices are located on the 2nd floor of the promenade, over a scrap bay, and it acts as the point of contact for several captains who have no qualms about skirting a few laws here and there. Opposite this is the Board Embassy and Presidential Suite. Part of maintaining the independence of the Groundbreaker is proving that they are willing to work with the board, so a concession was made to allow an embassy on the vessel. Originally located out in the docks, the embassy has been moved within the last 10 years to the main deck. The board also requested that docking fees be instated and that the proceeds of the money be paid to the board. This was a necessary boon to grant them, as the crew of the former colony ship are under no illusion that the board couldn't simply construct their own station and strong-arm the Groundbreaker out of business, or even perhaps shoot them down with its large privatised military on large privatised ships equipped with large privatised cannons. As for the Presidential Suite, well, that's simply because every board embassy must have one. Due to the number of concessions the Groundbreaker has had to have ceded the board over the years, the Groundbreaker has seen an increase in board traffic and fewer tramp crews passing through. This, coupled with the vessel's ageing facilities, has led some to speculate that the grand ship that once carried many to a new home is on its last legs. The vessel's lower decks, in fact, have been barred off to the general public, and a band of outlaws has made its way into the depths of the ship and set up shop there, growing hallucinogenic mushrooms in the former cryopod operations. These troublemakers are led by a pyromaniac named Mac Red, and their liberal use of said fungi has left them in a questionable state of mind. Their presence has even prevented the ship's engineering staff from entering into the area to conduct vital repairs. The engineering team still diligently holds together the ageing vessel, currently under the command of Chief Junlei Tennyson, granddaughter of the original Chief, Gaying Tennyson, who passed on her knowledge of the Groundbreaker's innards in a hereditary fashion. This is how many of the remaining crew of the Groundbreaker came by their position, inheriting them from their forebears. Many of the vessel's systems have been jury-rigged with rewiring upon workarounds, known only to those who have spent their entire lives working with its systems. Several of its internals have even been cannibalized in order to repair more critical ones, and more than one section has been walled off, now only accessible via the vents and tunnels that crisscross throughout the Groundbreaker like arteries. Many of the crew who were born to the station consider her part of the family, and a home more than any planet ever could be. These seldom trod areas are collectively and colloquially known as the back bays, and those who live here are called stowaways. They are generally residents of the Groundbreaker who cannot afford to rent accommodation, nor are part of the crew manifest. Not all have nefarious intent, but they are generally shunned by the populace, who associate them with the more criminal elements who conduct their shady dealings out of the sights of the Mardets. The ship-turned-outpost has a long history and a fiercely independent spirit, but in the face of aggressive corporate interests and failing systems, it is uncertain how long it will remain so. Thanks all for watching this dive into the decks of the Groundbreaker. I've scratched the surface here, as it is home to many colourful characters and the basis of many more tales woven throughout the Halcyon system. Until the next video, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time, Captains. Goodbye.